If you are the employer, how do you choose one or the other? Now, one of the things that I do whenever I try to explain to a potential client of ours what is the difference between a virtual assistant and executive assistant is that I usually bring up the movie The Devil Wears Prada. Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal at this video is to be able to walk you through what are the differences between hiring an executive assistant versus hiring a virtual assistant in your business. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I have been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run an assistant outsourcing business here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, if you are a virtual assistant yourself or an executive assistant, I already did a full video on how to choose if you want to be a virtual assistant or an executive assistant. This video really is going to focus on if you are the employer, how do you choose one or the other? Now, one of the things that I do whenever I try to explain to a potential client of ours what is the difference between a virtual assistant and executive assistant is that I usually bring up the movie The Devil Wears Prada. For those of you who watched it, it's just one of the best ways that I can describe it. So we have Andrea, who is the junior assistant, and we have Emily, who is the senior assistant, who Andrea is kind of replacing at this point. So a lot of the time, we, at different points of our business, at different points of our lives even, we will need an Andrea or an Emily. So I'll describe in a little bit what are the difference between the two. They're being hired to solve a specific problem in the business. So I'm going to focus first on Andy or Andrea. Now, Andy in this case is our virtual assistant. So she was hired first to solve a specific problem, which was working directly with her boss, Miranda. So that was kind of where she got started. She was solving a problem where, other than if Emily was out and about, Andrea was there to kind of help solve different problems that was happening. So that is the first difference about being a virtual assistant, is you usually hire one to do a specific task, to solve a specific problem that you might have in your business. So they usually are an expert at a certain skill. So it could be graphics, it could be social media, it could be programming, whatever that looks like. That's usually how you get started when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant. Now, the second thing that Andrea focused on, or our virtual assistant will focus on, is being able to do repetitive tasks. So this could be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever these tasks may look like. They're tasks that have to be done in order to keep the business running and afloat. This could be sending out weekly newsletters, to creating and submitting reports, or even just reminding you of your daily tasks. This is where virtual assistants usually really shine on, is they're really, really good at making sure that things are running in the background and doing things that you don't probably not even thinking about anymore. Now, the next main thing that a virtual assistant focuses on is managing you. And what that looks like in the movie is Andy is always running around, doing errands, getting coffee. And what that looks for you virtually is your assistant might be ordering you coffee online to get delivered to your home office or your office itself. Could be managing your flights, your hotels, your bookings, buying out flowers or gifts for your family whenever there's birthdays coming up, just the small little things in your life to have things running smoothly. And typically virtual assistants are hired for part-time work. So if you just need a few tasks done within a day or within a week, a virtual assistant is probably who you're looking for. They're probably managing other clients as well. And the biggest reason why they can do such a good job for you is because they're also doing this for other people. So since some of the tasks, the repetitive tasks that they're doing is only taking up a few hours of their day or their week, then they can focus and work on with their other clients as well. And one of the biggest things that a virtual assistant helps you with, which again, using the metaphor that I'm just started going with this Devil Wears Prada, is just focusing on the smaller details. Virtual assistants are more task-based most of the time as they're starting out, and they're mostly going to be doing whatever it is that you do ask them, give them tasks when you delegate them. By the way, if you have no idea what tasks to delegate to a virtual assistant, you guys can check out this video right here. And they're able to just get things done even when you're not there. Now, when it comes to being an executive assistant, this is where we're kind of shifting the camera to Emily, which is a senior assistant in the movie. So an executive assistant is someone who is more project or outcome focused. So that is one of the biggest differences actually when I try to explain this to clients of what the difference is you have someone who is working on the task who's really good at doing the tasks to now someone who's more just outcome or project based. They're looking at things from a higher point of view. Instead of looking at the micro, they're looking at the macro. So that's one of the biggest advantages of having an executive assistant in your business, is you have this person who, yes, they're good at taking care of the tasks, but they also know how to zoom out, so then they can find the one task that makes everything else easier or faster. When they're more outcome focused, they look at different ways to get to the goal. They find resources, people to talk to, experts, so then you don't have to really follow whatever plan A was. Next is an executive assistant is great for new or growth tasks. Now, what I mean by that is anytime that you want to add something new into your business, anytime that you want to add a new project or a new system, an executive assistant is great for that, just because, again, of that shift in mindset, that instead of being task-based, you're more outcome-based. Anytime that you want to do a little bit of research, maybe competitive research, be able to find new tools or use new tools and explore if it's something that can be used in your company, executive assistants are great for that. It's mostly because they have a better grasp in your business, which brings me to the third point, which is, as a virtual assistant might be really focused on you, your needs, an executive assistant focuses more on the business. Now, one of the ways that I try to explain this is an executive assistant kind of eventually becomes your head of operations. That's definitely what happened with me and with my assistant, where she kind of really kept stepping up to the point where now she is helping me actually run my own business, and I'm going to need to hire an assistant soon. Their executive assistants are able to, with training, be able to create systems for your business, upgrade them, update them, be able to manage different resources, not just look for the resources, but also manage them as they come, and eventually be the person who, again, is helping you run your business. The next difference between having a virtual assistant versus an executive assistant is an executive assistant most of the time will be full-time working with you. So again, different times of your business, different times of your life, you might need one or the other depending on how many tasks or how much output you need from them. So an executive assistant, like I said, is usually full-time, so they can only really focus on you and your business and have ideas on how to make it better, because they're constantly just thinking about, how do I bring more value to my place of work, because this is where I'm focusing on, instead of having a virtual assistant who might have different clients, who might not be thinking in that same level as an executive assistant. One of the biggest differences between a virtual assistant and an executive assistant is most of the time executive assistants are focused on the vision, on the end goal for the company. And the biggest reason why that is since they are working with you and they can see the operations side, they can see where things are going and being able to track and update you and like, hey, we probably should focus on this one. We said we were going to focus on this. Let's not get distracted by this. That's one of the biggest advantages of having an executive assistant, is they have a sense of ownership on the goal. And that definitely does not mean that a virtual assistant can't do this. It's just that it is a different mindset. Once again, there's not really any discrimination or a bad choice. It really depends on what or who you need currently in your business at this moment. So whether you're trying to choose between a virtual assistant or an executive assistant, again, no really right or wrong answer. And if you're a virtual assistant yourself, it doesn't mean you can't become an executive assistant, or if you're an executive assistant, you can't switch back. It's really up to you, up to the choices or the needs of a business on who you want to hire. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what kind of assistants have you worked with before, and do you agree with some of the things that are on my list. Now, if you still haven't, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday. You guys can check out my top playlists right here and the newest video right here. Now, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!